Should we move on to the Darkzone? I know a lot of people want to talk about the Darkzone and PvP, and we'd be remiss of us not to spend enough time on that.
Please, hit me with it, man. People have been itching for Darkzone information.
Yeah, I mean, the Darkzone is important to us. We didn't have an opportunity to have a new Darkzone in the New York map, but the old Darkzones have been revamped in terms of systems and in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. So we're trying to find our way back to some of what made the Division 1 Darkzone experience great. And we've kind of deliberated along, and we kind of feel we want to streamline it, make it quite intuitive. We want to make sure that it's a place you only go to if you're ready to throw down. Like, it's not a place to go and harmlessly farm PvE activities. It's a place to only go if you're ready to encounter other players. Even if you're not going to fight them, you're going to play alongside them or whatever. That's what that zone is for. There's enough PvE farming in the game, in the missions and the open world and stuff like that.
We just talked about with Trick as well, with the global difficulty, there seems to be even more reason to where the PvE is. And I know the discussion we've had a lot with the community since a long time ago, people ask, a PvE Darkzone. It's really not needed from the sounds of things.
No, and it's some of the things we're doing, we're making sure that the stuff you get from the Darkzone, be it gear, which is going to be good gear from the Darkzone.
That's important to emphasize.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
it's going to be good
the
gear.
Darkzone is one of the best places to go for some of the best gear in the game.
Any exclusive gear? I'll put you on the spot.
There is.
There's exclusive gear.
I like
one of them is
spicy.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So whether you go there to get gear, or maybe, at some point you're done with your build or whatever, and you go there for currencies to buy it from the weekly Darkzone vendor, the currency or Darkzone XP, those things can only be gotten from things that have to do with interacting with other players. Kills, extractions, revives, so helping people, protecting extractions even if they're not yours, killing rogues, being rogue, going manhunt, all of the things that have to do with other players, those are the things that give those things. That means you're not going to get any uncontaminated loot that you can just waltz out with. You got to extract. Currency, you can see what's on the gear as it drops now.
You see the stats.
So you can make decisions. And maybe you disassemble it, and then you get some Darkzone currency, but that's also contaminated. Also got to be extracted. And all of that means that we're going to draw people more to the extraction points. And we've also done some tweaking to the difficulty level, so it's not such a hard wall sometimes. And then one of the other big things...
There's a lot of under the hood stuff.
There's a lot of little under the hood stuff.
It's difficult to kind of... we're kind of glossing over.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about the Darkzone
work that have been put into the Darkzone.
We're going to have a bit more to talk about.
Shout out to Gustav and Fabian for doing it. But I'm just going to go on a little bit more about it. So also the occupied versus non-occupied Darkzone, we kind of revamped that concept. So we don't want you to feel excluded from any of the Darkzones in rotation because they're in a certain mode, and we don't want you to feel that you have to play a certain Darkzone because it's in a certain mode. So now the Darkzone rules are the same, and the Darkzone scaling is sort of the same everywhere. So there's no occupied versus normal. We've revamped the rogue system to a simpler rogue system. What used to be the occupied Darkzone is still different in that it's invaded that week, just like missions get invaded, so it's the Black Tusk that you're fighting, but otherwise it's the same Darkzone. We're taking the best parts of both. So, the manhunt, kind of going high manhunt and stuff like that. We've taken that from the ODZ, applied it everywhere. We've gotten rid of Grey Rogue. So you're just rogue and then you're open season, or you're not rogue. So it's much simpler in that regard.
I was worried when you said we've simplified the rogue system, you were going to gloss over that. So I was going to ask you to please tell us what that actually means for players.
It can be controversial for people, but let's just dive in. So we want you to be able to, it is a push button to go rogue, but we want you to get that moment that you currently get in the ODZ where you can get the drop on someone. We don't want to lose that. So we revamped the push to go rogue to be very, very fast. So it's like a 300 ms press, I think, like that. Very fast button press. And it doesn't abort what you're doing. So if you're aiming, you can press it and you can just go rogue and you can start shooting. So that's that's really important because you can still like walk against someone, go rogue, and then start shooting them. But you still get that little split second of like announcement that nearby agent is going rogue to maybe react. So we think it's probably our best compromise between, you know, the kind of unforgiving nature of going rogue and getting a slight heads up anyway.
But I mean, the 300 millisecond alert is quick, right?
That's quick, but it's PvP. You gotta have quick reactions.
Yeah. So like that whole voice line.
Speaking of timing, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss changes to the talents and the timing on extractions and how long it takes for the helicopter to arrive. It's quite a butt clenchy experience now.
I love how seriously
It's a
you say
technical term.
that. We've actually implemented some butt clenching.
We applied a non-denominal multiplier to the butt clench factor that is not insignificant.
Yeah.
So
It is after 10 p.m. here.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
way past my bedtime.
And we've actually, so instead of just 2 extraction points, however, we've added 1 more. So now there's 3 extractions in a zone, so there's a little bit more options. But when you fire that flare, you're going to sweat. You're going to feel it because it's a big signal that goes out. Everyone in the zone can see it. And because everything is so enraptured or revolves around these player-to-player interactions and how important extracting is, because it's the only way to actually get this valuable loot out, especially now considering the fact that some of that loot is quite powerful and rare and exotic. You're going. It's dicey.
Yeah. And we also went in and revamped what you get, the perks you get, you know, for your Darkzone level, and removed the things that kind of tried to avoid PvP interactions. So things that shortened extractions and stuff like that have been revamped some. So just to make sure that we maintain that balance where you can get to an extraction that you see going on, and because it now means something what Darkzone rank you are, because the XP can only be gotten from things that have to do with other players, including reviving players and including protecting extraction zones, even if you don't have something on the rope.
You can be a guardian. You can just patrol the dark zone, protect other players, protect their extracts. You know, I mean, they might look at you sideways, but you know, get that shepherd rank up.
I love that.
But you also lose significant if you die to PvP. Yeah. So it means something to maintain a high dark zone rank.
Cool. Someone was asking about the friendly player interactions. One of the things that we don't have in the notes, and we'll talk about it in the state of the game when we talk about the dark zone, but I really want to say it now. The VoIP by default is now on.
It's a zone about interacting with other players. Now it's back to Division 1 default, which is you speak, they hear you. You can opt out. You can turn it to team only, or you can turn it off.
Why would you opt out of?
No, but I mean, sometimes not everyone's as nice as you, Canadian Bruce.
I apologize to everyone I kill in the dark.
You're like, oh,
yeah, you do.
I'm
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then
we're doing accent now. I don't know, man. Yeah, so
go for it.
We probably forget things right now about the dark zone that are important, but I think that
ammo crates.
Yeah, we added ammo crates at every extraction site just so you can have somewhere to replenish. I think that's a lot of people want that. But to go back to the heart of it, we want the dark zone to be a place that you go to get good gear, sure, but you get it in dangerous ways, right? Or you are dangerous to people who are there to get gear, and you get their gear. We want to get back to that heart of what it is to be in the dark zone.
I like it, and I can't wait for people to experience it and let us know what they think about it. Someone was asking about the dark zone in New York.
We haven't had the chance to make a new dark zone in the New York map,
cool.
So unfortunately not. I want to mention though, a lot of PvP players out there forget this. Maybe the gear changes, the changes we've been talking about and we've been showing, like the amount of impact that and the complete rebalance of the skills with the skill tier refactoring, that affects how PvP plays in the short term. What it feels like to one-on-one someone or 1v4 someone or whatever, those things have significantly changed, and we've really, really spent a lot of time thinking about talents, thinking about skill balance, thinking about these things and how that feels in the dark zone.
I know, like, let's be real, I know a lot of PvP players out there have felt like we haven't been talking about these things. I totally hear you,
we've been talking about them.
We've been talking about
It
them as
comes
well.
up on a daily instance. Like when we're talking
Everything.
about talents, we're talking
Yeah.
about weapons, we're talking about gear sets. How does this play? How does this feel? What is this going to look like in the Darkzone?
Right. To put you
Yeah.
on the spot, obviously
Yeah.
we've got a lot of Division 2 stuff coming and a commitment to putting a lot of awesome stuff out there. Is PvP something that, I know there's a lot of changes coming, but are you going to be looking at it closely for keeping an eye on it and making sure it is as tight as possibly can be?
PvP will always be where people call us out on if we've done the balance wrong.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
No, it's true.
Because that's when you get exposed to build rather than just use a build. So for sure, we keep an eye on PvP going forward.
I spent more time than I care to admit in the Darkzone in Division 1, and I've spent at least half of the hours that I've played Division 2 in the Darkzone as well. It's near and dear to my heart. Like, I'm always going to be,
One last thing. We brought back the moment when Isaac tells you that you lost connection to the Shade Network when you first go into the Darkzone, to bring back the mood of entering a dangerous place. I know it's a small
thing,
detail, but it's important.
the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I like it. I think, again, we've been going for
Way
nigh
too
on
long.
an hour and a half, and
Yeah.
I love it, but we still have to get some more people back in here. Yeah, thank you. So there's more exotics. Can you give me one more? Can you give me one more?
One more
Should we
exotic.
do
Gear
some
piece.
Gear?
Yeah,
Okay,
gear
so
piece.
Trick already mentioned Imperial Dynasty, so let's talk about... Well, we could talk about how one of them has changed, Gunslinger Holster. So that one now, this only applies to pistols, so forget about your sawed-off double barrel. But while your pistol is holstered in the Gunslinger Dodge City holster, you're building up stacks. And each one of those stacks, if I'm not mistaken, amplifies the damage of the first shot out of your pistol when you fire it by 100% and goes up to 10 stacks.
No, by 10 and goes up to 10 stacks, I think.
What did
No?
I say?
By
You
100%.
said by 100%.
Anyway,
No,
the point.
each stack multiplies amplifies the damage by 100%. So it goes up to
When you pull
1,000%.
When you pull that out and shoot, you're going to murder someone.
You're going
That's
to do
just
a
the
lot
thing.
of damage with your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Coupled with
Rat
the fact that we've sped up swapping to your sidearm, and
Yep.
coupled with the fact that
Yep.
we've sped up swapping to skills, that's also going to affect PvP as well. Just like the fluidity of using all of your tools.
Cool. Oh, thank you so much, guys.
So much to say.
Again, there's
So
even
exciting.
more to say. There's a lot coming. We're only 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So the 3rd of March for Warlords of New York, and there's going to be, we've said a lot, but that's really kind of scratching the surface
It
of
is.
all of
Yeah.
the things.
For sure.
Thanks, Bruce,
Thank you.
Frederick.
Thank
Stick
you.
around. We might grab another microphone and try and do some Q&A stuff at the end. Someone says, Ellis is, that the Bullet King, if someone
Right.
else knew that, that'd be really weird. The Bullet King LMG.
We mentioned the Bullet King LMG
Yeah.
that never has to be reloaded. I think in the visuals, you're going to see why.
All right.
Mag of holding.
Oh, no.
Oh, please. All right.
Transition.
Yeah, all right. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to wrap up the stream and hang out a little bit more. We'll see you in a few. All right. Bye.
All right, bye.